Welcome to Odds.com NBA coverage for Wednesday, February 10th, 2021. I'm Trot Wam, Wam on Twitter. Thank you for joining us here. My guy Jimmy is on a well needed, well respected vacation right now. So, in the meantime, I will be filling in as the NBA expert just to give us some looks, and I've picked out a few games today. That way we can figure it out, where the money is going to be at. Now, the last time we spoke and last time I was here, I coming off of a terrible day. I was 1-4 for the day, minus negative 3.53 units. 34 wins and 34 losses for the season, 50%, negative 1.29 units with the ROI of negative minus 1.9%. I mean, it's an average line of minus 104. We definitely get doing good there on the average line, but that's not good for right now. And hopefully, with Jimmy on vacation, we could separate a little bit, man. I'm just joking, bro. But Jimmy did coming off of a great day, February 5th, 5-3 plus 1.4 units, and that's giving him edging up back into the inside the black there. Right now, he has 46 wins and 47 losses at 49.5% with a negative 4.70 unit rate there, but at a ROI of negative 5.05% at an average line of minus 109. So yeah, that's my first time doing that. And for the most part, though, when Jimmy's here, he's going to give us the actual breakdown, what kind of game, what we're losing there. But it's a little bit too much to go back and for me to research. I'm just joking. But I do have a few games here, though, guys. And I do want to start off with these games in some sort of order that you're going to be able to watch them. And there's some interesting games as well. And I'm actually going to start off with this Luka Doncic and Trey Young matchup. This is an Atlanta Hawks team. This is an Atlanta Hawks team that is going to on the road to play Dallas Mavericks. Dallas Mavericks right now they're at -4. The over under is at set at 233 and a half. Now the Atlanta Hawks are currently dealing with injuries, spite of the boatload. I want to say. DeAndre Hunter out with a knee surgery that was successful today, so congrats there. But it seems like he's going to be out for an extended period of time. Bojan Bogdanovic still has been out, expected to return though in March for the Atlanta Hawks. Chris Dunn is actually expected to be back within the next week and a half, but he's not going to be expected here in this game. And Rondo, he's actually out for this game with lower back pain. So we got to make sure we get the Rondo rest because if we're looking to go into the playoffs, we need playoff Rondo. So yeah, he's not in this game. This is actually a revenge spot for the Hawks. Of course, the last time these guys met, I took Dallas -1.5. We cashed there, and that was good. That game was 122 to 116. I said -16. I'm sorry. In that game, the Mavericks have starting lineup got a little healthier. We got Finley Smith starting back in the lineup that day. And we also had some other guys like Kleber as well available, which they are expected to be available in this matchup as well. Now, the Hawks hurt themselves in that matchup, it appears. They were -6 in the turnover spots with the going 10-16 in favor of Dallas. So Dallas definitely forced a little bit more turnovers there. And it did appear that Dallas didn't need that game because they were losing 7 straight. They came back and made something out of it, but we were pleased to cash it. But it seems like it was really just a good spot for Dallas rather than it being a bad spot rather it being a bad spot for this Hawks team. Now the Dallas here, they started their 4 straight homestand with a win against the Timberwolves where they were favored by 10 points. Favored by 10 points against a Timberwolves team that had D'Angelo Russell. I think that was way too many points. Obviously, they didn't cover that game. Dallas is actually ranked 29th in ATS this year. So they're actually a bad bet. If you've been betting on them, they're kind of not that good at 10-15. And to be honest, though, it seems like they're just really starting to get their stride. They have guys that just now coming back off an injury. Right now, they're 11-14 from the year, so they're not doing what they're expected to do or expected where they were expected to be at this point. And I believe that they're going to be on the turnstile. I mean, Dallas won 3 of the last 5 games straight up. They only covered that one game that we had with Dallas, though, so that is not good there. But in this game, I'm not looking at a side. I'm looking at it in a props perspective. Now, the Hawks, without DeAndre Hunter, it did seem like they needed somebody to pick up. Now, also with Rondo out, I'm looking here for Kevin Herter, who has been stepping up already with Hunter being out. With Hunter being out these last 4 games, he's averaging 16.5 points per game. And also, within that being said, he had 21 points in that game against the Mavericks the last time out. So he already got points off of the same lineup that we're seeing here. I'm looking at him in the last 6 games, though, for Herter. He's averaged 13.6 points per game, 4.4 assists. That's shooting at 46 field goal percentage from the field, at 47% from the three. He's also hitting a team high in 3 3 points made in the 6 game span. So I actually expect him to go up with that production. Also, if you're looking as far as the top aside here, I definitely would lean towards the Mavericks, but it's kind of a tricky spot here. The Mavericks been giving up a lot of points lately. Actually, giving up 133 points per game the last 3 games. I had to make sure that was right. That is actually correct. They're giving up 133 points per game in the last 3 games. That's good for this Herder prop that I'm thinking about. So 118 points for this Atlanta Hawks team. This is a revenge spot again. I did also see John Collins in the news as far as possibly being a trade destination to go to Dallas, which was strange. But neither here nor there. My pick here is going to be Kevin Herter over over in points, but I'm going to officially take the Kevin Herter points and assists over 16 and a half. That's available at FanDuel at minus 108. I definitely like that. If you're looking at the side here, you could definitely go with either one. Honestly, I could see a case for either one of these teams, but for the most part, I think this is a good spot here. Having Rondo out, also with him already be having those production here, dropping 21 points the last game. Seems like this is a good number that we're getting at 16 and a half at FanDuel. So I definitely want to take advantage of that. And again, he averaged 4 assists those last 6 games. Now going into and honestly, to go back into this game, I really believe that this is going to be a great game. I really believe that this is going to be a great game. So, there you go here. There you go there. But into the next game. And I got a few games here, and I think they're all really interesting. They all have pretty good stories. This one has the most interesting story out of them all, in my opinion, because there's a team here in the Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets, they take on the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies are at home, -4 favorites at home. Total is set at 226. Now, injuries for the Memphis Grizzlies here, they're missing some key guys. They're missing Brandon Clark, who's already out, who's labeled out today with a calf injury. We know this is COVID protocols left and right throughout all this, but along with that, having COVID and all those things, having these soft tissue injuries or having these sort of lingering injuries need to be addressed in this short season. So having a guy like Brandon Clark, who you're looking to have tremendous impact long term, having him out, that seems like a good move. Also with DeAnthony Melton, he's also out with a shoulder injury. I think that's going to be big for Memphis, in my opinion. Now, talking about this Hornets team, though, they're on the road and they're pretty good on the road. This Hornets team. Now let's go into the last game. My apologies. This Hornets team, as far as them on the last game, their last game was one of the historic games for our guy LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball played really, really well in this last game, shooting 7 3-point makes, having 7 3-point makes at 24 points exclusively from the three. And he had 10 assists, 7 rebounds. I like this LaMelo kid, man. I know I haven't really spoke too much on it, but I like this LaMelo kid. That's one of the things that I've been impressed with, along with them beating out this Rockets team. They just came off of a Rockets win, 119-94. against the Rockets. Charlotte, they also had 6 players in double figures in that game. Now, that wasn't the only thing that was impressive to me. Along with what they've already been doing, Charlotte has already having a really good season so far as expectation wise, but they're shooting at a really, really, really high clip. Their last 3 games, they're shooting 40% from three, and they've been having that for about the last 2 weeks. If I haven't been already mentioned it before, they've been doing that for about the last few weeks. Now, this last game against Houston Rockets, the Charlotte team did not uh, go against John Wall or Eric Gordon, neither here nor there, but they were +8 advantage on the assists. So that kind of gives you an indication that maybe, Houston really needed those guys to distribute the ball. They out assist them by 20 to 28. Now, this Charlotte team, like I was trying to mention, I'm sorry, they have 5-1 ATS in the last 7 games. They're 6-1 ATS on the road. Now, the last 3 games for this Memphis team, they're ranked worse in defensive rating, and they're ranked number 22nd in opposing opponents' points off of turnovers. Hawks in that same stat in the same span, they're ranked ninth in defensive rating and eighth in opponents' points off of turnover. Now, while also allowing the fifth fewest points in the paint in that span. I believe that the Hornets will put this uh, in motion in this game, and the defensive rebounding ability in this Hornets team, because it seems like they're not necessarily a better team, but they just may be having a lot more availability than some of these guys in this Grizzlies team. The Grizzlies, the last 3 games, they're averaging 29 defensive rebounds. That's a +6 difference for this Hornets squad. They're averaging 35 defensive rebounds, along with, like I was mentioning, the 40% from three. That's actually a +7% difference from this Grizzlies team. They're averaging 33% from three. So if you keep them out of the paint, I believe this is one of the things that is going to happen in this game. I believe you keep the Grizzlies out of the paint, which they are ranked number 2 in the paint this year. So they're ranked number 2 points in the paint this year. If you keep them out of the paint, which it appears that this Charlotte team is well more than capable, being ranked at fifth lowest points in the paint over the last 3 games, along with holding opponents to 109 points per game, which is an 11-point difference with this Memphis Grizzlies team. They're allowing opponents to score 120 points per game. I believe that this is a good spot for you to take the hot team and fade the team that's decimated at injury, and also a team that just came back from having a sequence of games postponed and getting ramped back out there, right in the thick of things against another team that's really feeling confident on themselves and having a lot of the guys on their team clicking, like Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, LaMelo Ball, like we mentioned, but their leader is still going to be Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward's having a career year, and I'm going to back that team rather than taking this other team that's going, seems like in the opposite way. And you're getting 4 points here. So I'm taking the Hornets +4, FanDuel again at -110. I just like that. I believe you can possibly get the +4.5 at MGM at -115. I would endorse that as well, but as of right now, what I'm available to get, I'm seeing FanDuel at +4 Hornets. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. So I did want to pick out those 2 games just because they're really young talent. They have a lot of good guys, and then they're really good edges that I believe that you could take advantage of, and we can make some money with as well. And that's just honestly before the DeAnthony Melton, Brandon Clark injury news there. So once I heard that, I kind of just had to circle back and get that one dialed in. Now, going back into the next game. Now, the next game, it does seem a little trickier than these other games here. Now, this next game is going to be the Cavaliers taking on the Denver Nuggets at Denver in the Ball Arena at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, again on Wednesday, the 10th of February. This is Long, very long line. That Denver Nuggets are at minus 9.5 favorites against this Cavaliers team. Cavaliers, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the Cavaliers. I love the Cavaliers. I honestly believe that they're one of the best teams that I fell in love with early. But as of late, things do change, and things have been changing for the worse for the Cavaliers. Now, let's go with the injuries here. Now, injuries for the Nuggets. It seems like they're really not at that. They're not having any guys that's on the injury list besides Gary Harris that we didn't know about. Now, PJ Dozier is not going to be able to play. He's out, but Gary Harris is questionable for the Denver Nuggets. Injuries for the Cavs. They have Larry Nance Jr. out for 6 weeks. He had a fractured finger in his left hand. I'm not sure if he's getting surgery there, but I believe that was one of the uh, things that found this Cavs team in a bind, and they're having to scramble. It does appear that they're scrambling here. Now the Cavs are also without Kevin Love, who is on this road trip with them, possibly soon to return in the middle of February. That's going to be when they're coming back from to the Cavs. They're on a road trip right now, and I don't think that he's going to be coming back in this road trip. As far as this Cavs team, they haven't covered since the game in Detroit, and that's the game that they won 122 to 107. Detroit just came back today and smacked the Brooklyn. Looks like that's a pretty good win, but honestly, the Cavs have been trash, man. They're 0-7 their last 7 games, ATS. So they only won one game, and after that, they were pretty much to poops, if you be honest there. Now, the Cavs made a starting lineup adjustment. They started Jared Allen at power forward, along with Andre Drummond at the 5. It did appear that it kind of made of it does seem like this is affecting Andre Drummond's game, in my opinion. I believe Jared Allen is a great addition, great piece for long term. But if you got a guy that you're trying to keep pushing or try to, you know, ship him off or find a suitor for him, you definitely want to think about getting his stats up and having Jared Allen in the lineup. I don't think that's helping his stats. I like the new lineup though. In the game they didn't win against Phoenix, but that had no Chris Paul in it. So close of a win and a loss in my opinion. 113 to 119 they lost. One call decided this game. It was at 46 seconds. Colin Sexton went to the paint. It did appear that he got fouled, but it was an offensive foul that did make a big swing. If he did get the N1, it did look like he got fouled. If he would have got that, that would have possibly put him up one with the made free throw. I'm sorry. But since that didn't happen, it was on the other way. It was 4 points the other way late in that game, and by the free throw line that got these guys to lose by 6 points at 113 to 119. So having that tough loss, to start your fifth game road trip after already losing the last 3 games, it's kind of tough for this Cavs team. This Cavs team is 1-6 straight up in the last 7 games, 0-5 the last 5 games on the road. ATS, I'm sorry, 1-6 straight up in their last 7 games against this team, against Denver, and they only covered the first quarter 3 times in the last 10 games in the first quarter. I'm looking at this game in a first quarter perspective. Uh, did not see it. I did not see it before this game came on, though. Did not see it before this game on. Actually, I'm going to double check to see if I could get it at FanDuel here. But for the most part, I did not see that here available. But I'm looking at Denver to to find some new momentum in their homestand. I mean, after losing the last 3 games, including the tough loss with the Kings, the Nuggets, Denver Nuggets, I'm sorry, they're 8th in the West. So after losing that tough game to the Kings, they're 8th in the West. I mean, it does appear that uh, Jokic is Jokic or bust for this Nuggets. And Jokic didn't play that well last game. I mean, he had 36 points. I mean, he's going to eat regardless, to be honest. I mean, he dropped 35 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists in their defeat against the Bucks. But it wasn't really his fault they lost to the Bucks. Jamal Murray already knew he kind of was the guy that having a little bit more of a slump after the bubble. He was one of those guys. It seems like Donovan Mitchell was one of those guys, and you know how those guys were going after in the first round of the playoffs last year. That game against the Bucks, it was definitely Murray performance that stand out in the loss. It was 4 from 17 from field goals from the field, 11 points, 4 assists. He said after the game, "I've been playing basketball too long to go 4 for 17. I'm getting all the good looks. I've got to be better than this." You know what I mean? I understand that. I understand that having one of those games, you just like, man, I can't get the ball in the rim. It it happens. This is basketball. It's a make or miss lead, as you hear. What he did say afterwards that made me kind of lean towards this first quarter, not along with the stats, but give me an indication that he may be a little bit more focused coming out the gate against a team that's already that's noted to have really good guards in Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. I could see him coming out being aggressive, coming out possibly ruining it. But I think that this is a good team in Denver, and this is a bad first quarter team in the Cavs. Now, what he said after he mentioned that his tough start is that I didn't really. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't really want to be resilient anymore. I want to be the team that hits first. That's what Murray said after the game, after them losing against this Bucks team. They did kind of hit the Bucks first, but it seemed like the Bucks kind of kept it going, kept forcing it, and kind of got these guys out of their rhythm. Now, at a home and away stance, points per game, the Cavs are only averaging 98 points per game. That's plus 17.3 point difference to what the Denver Nuggets are putting up at home. They're scoring 115.9 points per game when they're at home. Both teams are tricky when it comes to pace, though. The Cavs' last 3 games, they're ranked the 18th in pace. Fifth slowest pace is Denver in that same span. Both are ranked bottom 5 in defensive rating in that span as well. So I wouldn't take the under on these guys. It seems like they just give up the goods. And I'm looking towards this over because the Nuggets net rating in the first quarter is ranked number 1 in the league. They have an offensive rating of 128.2. A defensive rating that's pretty good. It's all right, 113.6. This Cavs team, they're just bad in first quarter. So we definitely could look to fade them there. They lost their last game terribly in the first quarter. I believe that will continue here. And it has a lot to do with this matchup. I think Jokic is just one of those guys you just cannot stop, especially when he gets a good matchup that he can take advantage of. This is definitely that. This is a good matchup for him to take advantage of. Jared Allen is a great defender, but he most likely probably won't even be on him like that. It may be Drummond there, and finding Drummond on the backside, I don't think that's going to be good for him. So I like this first quarter Nuggets team. And I'm sorry here, I did get it at FanDuel. It's at -3.5, -102. So Nuggets first quarter at FanDuel, -3.5, -102. I like that look. It makes sense to me. I just believe that the Cavs being terrible in the first quarter already on the road, they only covered 3 of the last 10. This is a team that is number 2 in net rating against the first quarter. Kind of makes sense to me. And also, they guys are coming out here on the different Nuggets. Now, I do want to add, though, that did make me nervous. And I'm just going to add this to be honest here. Will Barton coming out saying that possibly the altitude is affecting them is something I want to look in. But that's something to said there, but I don't think that's going to be affecting us in this spot. I think these guys know that they got to come out here and hot, and the Cavs just doesn't look the same without Larry Nance Jr. He's shooting those threes. He's number 1 in steals, number 1 in deflections. That guy's out. You don't really have nobody that could give you, that type of level of athleticism and still be able to produce offensively. What he does is just something that you can't replace in this point. And I'm thinking of fading the Cavs for a long period of time, and it does appear that it is working. Again, they're 0-7 ATS their last 7 games. Not good at all. Not good at all there. Now, The last game that I have here, let me make sure I'm putting it up in order correctly. My apologies. The last game that I have here is a game that is very, very much the most probably watched game that you're going to hear, or most talked about game tomorrow. And it's the Brooklyn Nets being at home to face the Indiana Pacers. They're -2. There's no total yet for this game. So there is no total yet for this game. I'm filming this. This is at 12 a.m. Uh, Eastern time of, Wednesday the 10th. And there's nothing here. We do have the Brooklyn Nets -2, -110 at FanDuel. The Pacers, uh, they're coming off here. They're coming off here in a pretty situational spot here. Now, this next team, they just lost his Detroit Pistons team. This is a second half of a back-to-back. Kyrie was probable for the game today. Did come out and play. Didn't look that good that it helped out the this Brooklyn Nets team. I don't think that that's going to affect us honestly in this game here. What I seen in this game, I didn't pull up all the actual stats for the game, but what I seen in this Detroit game, watching it bare eye, these guys they were practicing. They were practicing out there. DeAndre Jordan, for example, there were a lot of screen plays that he was not rolling in, getting yelled at, getting talked to Steve Kerr. You could definitely tell that he was drilling them. DeAndre Jordan possibly won't be in this game that much, I don't think, in this matchup. Now, obviously, they need him. This is against Sabonis. This is against a team that definitely are tough. They're definitely a tough team. Like now, Brooklyn, they're pretty much getting hit left and right. They don't have no Kevin Durant in this game. He's not coming back until Friday. The health and safety protocols hit him second time. This is his second week, I believe he's missing due to this same thing this year. Guys like Gary Harris, though, have been stepping up this last six games coming into the Knights game. He was shooting 53% from three at 7 attempts. Very good for him, but we got to get some more defense, guys. These guys were on pace. They were on pace to score, I believe, 120. No, they're my apologies. The Nets allowed 120 points per game 6 straight times. One more, which would have been today if they would have got it. They would have had tied the record for the most points, 120 points scored in that same span. It's very interesting to see like this team being constructed off the jump and not being able to produce because they have lack of defense. That's something I've seen from the beginning. It seems like they have been trying to fix it, getting guys like Norvell Powell, who did look pretty well. It's just see he just got added to this team and he's not really there yet. So he did look pretty well. His activity is a lot better than DeAndre Jordan. But that being said, they still got DeAndre Jordan out there, and he's still out there giving it up. Now, my apologies. I didn't catch this, but they did allow 122 points to the Pistons, and that is tying the record for most points allowed, 120 points allowed in 7 straight games. That ties the record for the pretty much one of the historically bad defense of the NBA. And this is a historic bad defense. These guys just do not know how to stop people. There's no guys that's going to plug up this defense. Now that you're looking for KD to come back on Friday to make a big difference. I don't believe so. Now, this Pacers team, going off of this, they're starting a 3-game road trip. They play Brooklyn, Detroit, Atlanta. 7 of their next 10 games are on the road. So we can see this Pacers team fold up into our eyes being either a lottery team out of the playoffs or could possibly, be a really good contender within these next 10 games because within the next 7 games, they're all on the road. They're facing pretty tough competition. Indiana is also trying to, come off of a spunk because they lost their last 5 of the last 6 games as well. They're on a 2-day rest. This is a Brooklyn's second leg of a back-to-back, so they have the rest advantage. Is if they're already in a good spot, but it does appear that they're coming off of some bad situations. They also missed and also lost their assistant coach. I wrote down here resigned due to mental health issues. It just seemed like they just been getting hit with bad burner there. The team is also is ranked defensively ranked 18th in opponents' points per game in the last 6 games at 115. Now the Nets are ranked worse, obviously, at 128 opponents' points per game in that span. But this team in the Indiana Pacers, you're giving up the points as well. Nets still can score. We know the Nets can score. James Harden had 24 points, 12 assists, six rebounds today. They let Jeremy Grant eat just like I believe that they're gonna let Sabonis eat in this spot. I think this is a good bounce back spot though for the Nets, even though they lost and they give up the worst defense. They have the worst defense. I'm still thinking about and I'm still going to back this Brooklyn Nets team. And it, honestly, I don't feel happy about this. To be real with you, but the Indiana team, I just do not like this Indiana team, man. Now, the team also, the Pacers also are last, much like their last opponent in the Utah Jazz, where they got smoked, and they really were kind of in that game, but they weren't. The Nets, they're averaging about 3 points, eight. I'm sorry, the eighth most 3 point attempts per game at 37 attempts per game, and the fourth most 3 point percentage. So they had fourth most 3 point percentage, the fourth best, I'm sorry, and 3 point percentage at 40% from three. I believe that these guys are going to shoot the ball really well in this game. They have to go and get sets that make sense. What they were doing today against this Detroit team, they were practicing. They were practicing. They believed that they could beat this team regardless, I feel. And Wayne Ellington came out and blacked the three for his first attempt and for their first attempt. And I think it did get into a point of in the first quarter they were on a back and forth spell. But the fact that they're plugging in guys and they have guys like DeAndre Jordan that weren't playing well, I believe that was the indicator that this was just going to be a practice game. We're going to just let this game go. I believe that this Nets team is really good. I believe they're really good. It's the reason why they're top four, top five in the league right now. And I believe that they're going to continue to get better, especially when KD comes back. As of right now, he won't be back in this game. But I think that this is a good spot for us to take advantage of just getting some good value on this team in the Brooklyn Nets and facing a team that you would think that plays well in the Pacers, but there's fool's gold behind it. Now, the Nets are averaging 10 more points per game in the last 3 games at 116 to the Pacers 106. Opponents' points per game, obviously the Nets are terrible there. They're giving up 122 points per game in their last 3 games, including tonight, 122 points exactly. This Nets team is giving up 115 points per game. That's seven. That's a 7 point swing and 7 point difference. But at that point, I'm starting to lean towards this Nets team because I believe that they have the better players. Now, pace wise, both of these guys are pretty much in the middle of the pack. In the last 3 games, the Nets are ranked ninth in pace at 100 possessions. The same thing for this. Also, think similar for this Pacers team. They're at ranked 11th there at 100 possessions as well. So they're about the same there. But the difference here is the offensive rating. There's more capable of getting the bucket than this Indiana team as far as the Nets. The Nets are ranked 11th in offensive rating, and this team in the Pacers are ranked third worst in the league, ranked 28th in the league at offensive rating over their last 3 games. They're also rating defensively is ranked 21st in the league. Obviously, we know again the Nets are terrible, but 21st to 25th, I'm going to lean. They're going to play both bad defense within the last 3 games. This Nets team and this Pacers team. I'm going to lean towards the Nets because I believe that they have the better talent and they have the better skill. Even though they're off a back to back, again, their effective field goal percentage difference is 8%. So I will definitely look here and just take this team, close my eyes, and just believe that when it comes down to this game, Doug McDermott is going to still shoot 30% from three. Now, Justin Holiday have been picking it up. He shot 42% over this last 3 games, but I believe he's going to fall back to where he was doing. So he may fall back there. He is speaking up for this team. He does appear like he is the leader. I mean, having a brother on your team and you like the big brother, you kind of got to be like the big brother on everybody's side. So I believe that's what it's getting from there. But this Brooklyn team is going to bounce back. They're getting KD back, similar to what Embiid did when he was coming back. They should challenge this Brooklyn Nets team to get this win here without KD. And I would definitely take the Brooklyn Nets here. Doesn't seem like it's going to be pretty. I can honestly think that you may see a reverse line flip, but I'm going to take this now. Brooklyn Nets -2, -110 at FanDuel. And a lot of that, again, it has a lot to do with just these guys and the Indiana Pacers just been actually absolutely bad. And I believe within these next 10 games within these next 10 games, 7 of those on the road, I believe that the Pacers will be a fade team. And it starts off there. And I believe, it's just bad karma over the last 12 months for this Pacer team. They've been having some suspect, weird things going on, and I'm just ready to bet against it. So I'm going there with that. As far as this game breakdown, I definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in, watching me break this down, man. I haven't been I haven't been this focused in a while. So I feel good. I feel good there as far as like what we're doing here at odds.com. Right now I'm sitting at -1.29 units. I believe that today we will get that up. Just to do a recap on the games, we can start back off with this Brooklyn Nets team. I'm going to just say, hey, I like Brooklyn to bounce back off of a back-to-back where, Kyrie Irving didn't really shoot that well. It does appear that he was trying to get guys involved more. They have got a lot of new guys coming back. A lot of new guys that's in this game. Novell and also Noah Vonwell. He should be making his debut in this game on Wednesday as well. I didn't mention there. So I like these guys. The Brooklyn Nets to win -2 is the spread that we're going to take there. It's available at FanDuel at -110. The next game here we broke down was the Cavaliers Denver Nuggets spot. Larry Nance Jr. is a big loss in my opinion. And Gary Harris is a questionable, but I don't think that's going to be something that we're going to really kind of bank on there. I think Jokic balls out, so I do like there. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Nuggets -3.5 at FanDuel, -102 is the line there. I believe that they're going to continue to be a great first quarter team. And this team, as in the Cavs, I'm sorry, they only won 3 of the last 10, only covered, I'm sorry, 3 of the last 10 games in the first quarter, while this Nuggets team are ranked #1 in net rating in the first quarter. 3.5 seems like that's something that we could definitely take there. And the full game line was -9, so we're getting about what we're supposed to. Another game that we broke down here was the Hawks at Dallas, -4. Hawks are pretty much depleted at injury there. We're going to go back and just say that Kevin Herter continues to heat up and also duplicate similar performance what he did against the Mavs last time, where we were on the Mavs -1.5. Right now the Mavs are -4. We're not taking that. We're taking Kevin Herter over 16.5 points and assists. Available again at FanDuel -108. And also the next game, I believe this is the last game. If no, we got two. Oh, that's the last game. I believe this is the last game here. Charlotte Hornets at Memphis -4. Over and under was at 226. We're going to take the Hornets here. LaMelo Ball is playing great. This team in the Memphis Grizzlies, they're decimated at injury as well, battling COVID issues. Kind of got to fade these guys at this moment. They are looking to probably step up and bounce back off of a loss, but I believe this hot Nuggets team shooting at a crazy clip will continue to hold down the paint, and they're ranked 5th in the last few games in the opponent points in the paint in the last, I believe, 3 games. So I'm going to take the Hornets there. I like them at +4. Maybe sprinkle a little bit on the money line there. But definitely, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. We won't be doing this that much often like this. Obviously, my guy Jimmy's going to come back and we're going to have everything dialed up. But until then, until the meantime, let's get to this cash. Let's get to this money. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Follow us and click this link below to finish out the story, man. Appreciate y'all.